fellow critics, welcome back to The Alley, the show where the host is just waiting for you to almost finish that generator before dragging you back into darkness. In case that doesn't sound familiar, I've got answers and theories for you about a game called Dead by Daylight, which is a game about the cycle of violence. 3 of our favorite things here on the show are fog, murder, and trauma. So you know I'm gonna find a theory for a game that includes all 3. So today I'm bringing you an answer to the question that many of you playing the game have asked: who or what is the entity? And folks, today I'm pretty sure I have an answer that will have some of you saying, oh yeah, I left clothes in the washing machine. Before I drop the big reveal, I think I'm gonna tease you a little, because who doesn't love a bit of edging? It makes the game so much better when it finally reaches its climax. So what do we actually know about the entity? We can learn quite a bit through some of the archives the game provides us. Call me the observer because I did just that. Honestly, longer than I really intended to. After all that time, effort, and energy I've undergone to unravel the void like a bothersome kitten determined to ruin your curtains, I've learned a lot. I've seen a lot. Horrible things. Worse than Jersey Shores. As a longtime student of psychology and a terminal overthinker, I rarely take an answer at face value. This often leads me to notice similarities and patterns, which often leads me to madness. And that leads me here. And within the circling insanity, I found an answer. An answer to the identity of the entity. That horrid, hook-loving sky spider is none other than Silent Hill itself. Hear me out. If you haven't watched my episode about Silent Hill, then this probably sounds like a ridiculous statement. How can a spooky town be a sky spider at the same time? If you have watched my Silent Hill episode, then this makes complete sense. So go watch that one, since this is technically a sequel to that one. Since I know you didn't just get back from pausing this episode to go and watch that one, unless you're really good at doing what you're told, then I'm going to go ahead and drop some lore about Silent Hill and about Dead by Daylight while pointing out all the obvious similarities between the two. So right off the bat, we got fog. They both have fog, but not just any fog, magic demon fog. When you see the fog coming out in Silent Hill, you know bad stuff's coming with it. Also, you'll likely be consumed by it, as I have in this episode. The fog world is but one layer of Silent Hill and acts sort of like a foyer to the creepy castle. The real world is kind of like the front porch, and the other world is that blood-stained, organ-covered basement that you never forget. All of which are layers of the living extension of Silent Hill. It's very possible that all the monsters are in fact generated by the fog when you consider the fact that they only appear when the fog is present. Characters like Laura from Silent Hill 2 claim they don't even see the monsters, implying that she is on the regular world layer of this murder pie. Dead by Daylight also uses magic fog to create the environment around the characters. The fog is a direct extension of the entity in Dead by Daylight. The lore explicitly says the fog is made of auric cells which comprise the entirety of the entity. It's like if your farts were still actively connected to your evil consciousness and you can make walking horrors with them. Little fart monsters haunting your victims. The entity uses magical flatulence to emulate nightmare locations from your reality. But it's important to remember that the gassy funhouse always retains imperfections since the entity cannot perfectly clone something. It has limits. Don't forget that both Silent Hill and Dead by Daylight can use the fog to twist and manipulate the memories of its captives. There are so many examples of each. Silent Hill uses memories and trauma to make monsters and cause extra emotional damage.
Emotional damage!
It can also lead your protagonist to one of the many multiple endings pretty much every game has. It all depends on how lost they get in the fog. Dead by Daylight fog makes familiar places and mind wipes the players in between each round. keeps the fear fresh, like saran wrapped spaghetti. Probably one of the biggest unexpected similarities is that both are female. Hell hath no fury like a woman's storm. So if you saw my Silent Hill episode, you know the entire spooky experience is derived from the leftover voodoo and energy from attempting to revive their god, who is continually declared to be a female entity, i.e. the Holy Mother. I mean, the genocide that took place there probably didn't help it becoming hallowed ground. The deity is said to be nurtured on hatred and clearly gained strength from feeding on traumatized souls and suffering, part of a balanced breakfast. In Dead by Daylight, the entity is often designated as being of the female gender. The native language of most of the developers is French, and the original name is La Entity, which is a female noun. And English pronouns declaring it feminine have often been used as well. And it makes perfect sense that a mischievous dommy-mommy would excel at sucking the soul right out of you. Both of these are able to trap people inside of them, and they don't even need to use that fancy leg lock maneuver. Literally name any character from either game. They've all been trapped there for a while. During the time they're under its influence, it has vastly ranging control of their minds. Some, clearly, more than others. Both of them have weird little cults simping over them, which they have arguable power over. They both have a strange connection to plants. The theoretical biology of the entity from Dead by Daylight is akin to plants because it is affected by the blight, which blooms the pustules from which the mysterious nectar known as putrid serum is distilled from. Blight is a symptom commonly found in plants when they're affected by a pathogenic organism. And humans have many times been compared to parasites or diseases upon the earth. And have you seen Silent Hill F? Or even heard of White Claudia? Another striking similarity that both of them have is their ability to travel to find new victims. As I explained in the Silent Hill episode, the sentient land has the power to travel time and even to different dimensions to collect its victims because the god that gave that land life had those powers. And that god is the primary source of Silent Hill's growing strength. Dead by Daylight's entity travels the omniverse in order to find darkened planets and dimensions from which it gathers its growing cast and crew. Consider all the guest stars on its evil stage. Don't forget that Dead by Daylight literally has Pyramid Head and Heather Mason. Both are very important to the Silent Hill lore and universe. I mentioned them quite a bit in the Silent Hill episode. As I explained in the Silent Hill episode, Pyramid Head may begin as a reflection of James's guilt and need to be punished, but he is formed and shaped after the White Hunter, who is an ancient sentinel, which is a testament to the age of Silent Hill, considering both entities are very old by their lore. The entity is said to be so ancient that very few are even aware of how old it is. And Pyramid Head is what I call an anchor emissary. And Heather is literally infused with the god. Why do you think the cult wants her so bad? These aren't just random people from the series, and I think it's no coincidence that those are the people that the entity sought out and took. So it is clear to me at least that Silent Hill is the story of the entity growing more powerful and sentient, while Dead by Daylight is very much like a spiritual sequel where the entity has grown strong enough to literally steal heroes and villains from other franchises. Even Nick Cage finds himself absorbed. So what do you think? Convinced yet? I often say there are no coincidences, especially when the evidence is so overwhelming. Trauma is one of those all-consuming things that can absorb you and leave you lost in the fog, feeding the darkness. Which is why you have a bunch of protagonists, including myself, who urge you to keep yourself and never give in to that darkness. Especially those of us who have had to break free from the fog and find peace once again. Because as strong as the entity is, human will is indomitable. Which is why the darkness can't just take everyone. You can't keep a good dog down. Critically yours, the Fox. Courage the Cowardly Dog.